very first one that I remember is I did a letterbox job. That's mistake number one.
Oh, yeah.
Mistake number two was the one person who called. I got so tongue-tied on the phone I couldn't even speak to him. I was like, he's like, oh, I think I've got the wrong number. And he hung up and I went, oh, and that's probably the only call I've ever had from any letterbox job ever. So mistake number one is, if you're going to put out a marketing campaign, be clear on what it is you like to say when the person calls you, because the person to doing the purpose to doing it is for people to call you. So that's mistake number one. I know when I very first started with staff, I just had the wrong people, and it was just through lack of really knowing what I wanted. For example, I had one member of staff who was only seeing one client after 12 months. Now, the mistake in that is not so much the person, because they were a fabulous person. It was my leadership style at the start. And I think that probably something that I think that all mistakes are an opportunity to learn. But the one thing I think I would like to change is to get clear on my goals and have someone walk it with me, because I think I would have gotten where I wanted to get a lot quicker. And I look at what we've achieved in the last 8 years, and I think the 12 years before that, it just took a long time for everything to happen.
Yep.
And then when it did, it was kind of like we sort of took off really, really quickly. But I think other mistakes that we made, being too generous with our staff at the start with contractors. We paid them way more than we should have, which made the business unsustainable. And I think that comes down to boundaries and lack of them. And that's something that I see with a lot of therapists. We're often very kind, gentle-hearted people, and we don't want to upset someone. But at the end of the day, you're running a business, and there's risk when you run a business. It's a time, effort, energy, and risk. That's what you get paid for when you hire staff or when you bring on board your team.
Yep.
Be clear on who you want to work with, because we weren't. We just we would work with anyone. And I think as soon as we got really clear on our niche, or we had quite a few niches, but when we spoke to them specifically, it made the world of difference.
Yeah.
And if you're going to rent rooms out, make sure that their values match to your clinic, because they definitely bring a flavour through. For example, one day we had a tenant who decided to sage the clinic for us. Now, I don't know if you've experienced sage, but it's hideously stinky and just smells horrendous. And we've got all these relaxation clients, so we've got an osteopath, and and we're just sort of there going, and trying to open windows and get rid of the stench. And I'm like, I don't care what was there before you saged. I'm kind of happy to just let it be, because it stinks to high heaven, and it's just not part of my value set, and that's okay. I have no judgment for people who do want. Just don't do it when I'm around, because it stinks like anything. And stuff like that. And I think it just comes down to me at the time of my lack of personal leadership, because the more certainty that I have and the more certainty that I grew, the less that stuff happened, and the more it was like, right, this is where we're going. This is the kind of clinic that I want to run. These are the people that I want to work with. These are the people that I want to work with me. And the clearer that I got with that, the better everything flowed.